You know, it's a shame. I really love the Ready to Rumble franchise. I mean, I thought it was great. And how did it not catch on so well? I mean, coming from the same company who made Mortal Kombat, well, for the most part. Anyway, when I'm talking about the Ready to Rumble franchise, I'm mainly talking about the first two games. I don't talk about you. Then again, you're not the first thing Atari screwed up. 1983. Wait. Holy crap! They're primarily blamed for it in Japan! Atari shock? Wow. Talk about fail. Anyway, let's get on to the real topic at hand. So I'm going to be talking about this franchise a little bit more in depth, just to kind of maybe hopefully breathe a fresh breath of life in it. Maybe in vain though, if this is probably just going to get 1 or 2 views. But then again, I'm a guy with a dream, hoping to see another game from this. Well, probably going to be hard because Midway's shut down and I don't know what Michael Buffer's doing nowadays. But anyway, let's get on to talking about this game. I'm going to start this video with the characters. I'm going to be using 2 video games for this. Ready to Rumble Boxing on Nintendo 64, and probably my favorite of the whole franchise, Ready to Rumble 2 on PlayStation 2. Let's start with Ready to Rumble 1, since it primarily begins there, am I right? Let's begin with the most iconic cast member, Afro Thunder. He's a retired cab driver from New York City, New York, who got started in boxing eventually. He actually became rather known for his very flashy and iconic stage appearance, and became one of the most biggest showmen in the Rumble tournament. Between the events of Ready to Rumble 1 and 2, according to Ready to Rumble 2's instruction manual, it says Afro Thunder had taken a 3-year break from boxing to become an actor for action movies, during which time his cousin GC Thunder would step in to fill the void. Eventually, Afro would return in Ready to Rumble 2 to upstage his cousin, resulting in the eventual rivalry between the two. Boris the Bear Nakamov was originally just a well-known boxer in Croatia. Ready to Rumble 2 depicts Boris Nakamov as a sellout to multiple sponsors, as his boxing shorts can be seen covered in the sponsors. I will be covering Salua and Mama Tua at the same time. It all starts with Salua, a sumo wrestler from Hawaii who moved to Japan. After he became grand champion, he became concerned about sumo wrestling's lack of recognition in the world arena. He later on became a boxer. However, he eventually retired and went back to sumo wrestling. 2 years after the retirement of her son, Mama Tua would step into the Rumble ring by accident. She mainly does this to stay fit, although she does have a natural knack for boxing, as shown through her son. So clearly boxing is in the Tua family name. This is a complicated triangle. I will be going over Butcher Brown, Chemo Claw, and Bruce Blade all at the same time. Butcher Brown is pretty much a troubled boxer. He's kind of clumsy, but then again, he can be kind of hostile. This is where his guru, Chemo Claw, will come in, seen here. Chemo Claw is a very spiritual boxer, and as a matter of fact, was a guru to Butcher Brown in an effort to keep his cool. Sometime between the events of Ready to Rumble 1 and 2, he got into a bout with Bruce Blade, seen here, who's pretty much wearing that helmet as a result to keep his good looks intact. During one of the rounds of the match between Butcher Brown and Bruce Blade, Butcher Brown used a knockout move called the Devastator that ultimately accidentally killed this former U.S. Marine. Yes, Bruce Blade was a former U.S. Marine. He wound up dying as a result of that match, and was banned from the Rumble bout for 2 years. He was reinstated in time for the events of Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. However, Chemo Claw had retired by this time, so it's up to him to keep himself in check and under control. Oh, and for my homies on a Friday night viewers, no, his arms are not really 10 feet long. Okay, up next I will cover Angel Rivera and Rocket Samche at the same time, because this is another kind of hand-in-hand sort of thing. Angel Rivera was actually a very sort of orthodox kind of fighter. In other news, he put substance before style. However, when he lost to a practical new guy at the time, here he is, Rocket Samche, he eventually realized that he had to combine both showmanship and substance to eventually reclaim his title. In fact, the fight that Angel lost was his first title defense after becoming champion. Eventually, between Ready to Rumble 1 and 2, there was a controversial 12-round match between Angel and Rocket that would see Angel accidentally destroy Rocket Samche's eye. As you can kind of see here, you see how his one eye is kind of messed up? That's the one Angel Rivera damaged with his thumb. And I guess Rocket would be kind of vengeful of that. Oh, and apparently according to Ready to Rumble 2, Angel's been stealing Rocket's moves. I'll just stay on Ready to Rumble 2 for Jet Iron Shin because his story is pretty much the same between 1 and 2. He got started as a stunt double for a Hong Kong actor, I presume maybe, I don't know, Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, something like that. Anyway, he got started as a stunt double and eventually wanted to make a name for himself. That's it. His story doesn't really change from Ready to Rumble 1 or 2. Tank Thrasher was only in Ready to Rumble 1, and his whereabouts after 1 are still unknown to this day. He got started in the sport of crocodile rodeo, but decided to become a boxer after the lack of serious competition. Nat Daddy's just one of those characters that's there to be the big, intimidating, long-armed boxer that you just don't want to mess with. In fact, the game even says that with the instruction booklet. He just depends on his freakishly tall stature and his long arms to pretty much win him fights. Lulu Valentine is a graduate in business and fashion design by Ready to Rumble 1 and is boxing pretty much in an effort to try to promote some sort of clothing line. By Ready to Rumble 2, her clothing line has kind of clearly taken off and it's kind of doing her some favors, it looks like. Phasmotar got started as a bodyguard to a Middle Eastern entrepreneur and eventually wanted to become a boxer. So basically he's an Arab version of Mr. T. Big Willie Johnson has probably got the best backstory of the whole game. Apparently he comes from a time warp where he was an 1800s fisticuffs champion. Yes, he is from the 1800s officially, in this game at least. Ready to Rumble 2 depicts him as just a man in a time warp of old-style boxing. Although strangely, this game says he's in his hundreds. Ready to Rumble 2's manual says he's in his hundreds, but Ready to Rumble 2, the game, says he's in his 40s. JR Flurry got started as originally just that one punk in the whole fight that just pretty much annoyed everybody. By Ready to Rumble 2, JR Flurry matured a little bit, but he still got that kind of annoying sort of personality about him and that showboat style that still gives him the nickname The Dude with the Attitude. And then there's Damian Black, who's pretty much Ready to Rumble 1's Rumble Man. Damian Black, essentially, is a 500-year-old being from unknown parts who's rather intimidating, to say the least. As a matter of fact, it's said he funded his own fights, and pretty much, he's not a force to be messed with. And those who do dare to take him on, and do beat him, become the champion. Yep, this is Ready to Rumble 1's Rumble Man. What would you rather fight? That scary-looking demon, or pretty much the Hulk version of Michael Buffer? I accidentally skipped Celine Strike in Ready to Rumble 1, but yes, she did appear in Ready to Rumble 1. As for Ready to Rumble 2, it's said that she is known for her rather tall stature for a girl. In fact, she was set to take on Mama Tua in a fight, and was very confident of winning, but her overconfidence became her weakness, and she wound up losing the match. Eventually, she trained up really well, and now vows to take down Mama Tua. Oh, and did I mention she trains with Lulu Valentine? So that's pretty much pairing up the two slender-build women here in this game. Yeah, you get those two together in a tag team match, it could be ugly. Johnny Blood is the brother of Jimmy Blood, a character in Ready to Rumble 1, which was version exclusive only to the Sega Dreamcast. Jimmy Blood eventually stepped down from the Rumble match, and Johnny Blood, who was a sheep herder who had some brawling experience in pub fights, stepped into the Rumble arena to fill in his brother's name. Good little brother, huh? Freaky Deek is basically a punk rocker who's notorious for causing mischief and anarchy in punk rock mosh pits. He's also the youngest human character on the Rumble circuit at 19 years old. This son of a gun is my age. Do I really need to give Michael Jackson an introduction? Everybody knows who Michael Jackson is. He was a recording artist back in the 80s and 90s, and he is most known for his songs Thriller, Billie Jean, Bad, Smooth Criminal. You get the hint. It's Michael freaking Jackson. He allowed his likeness to appear in this game, and, tragic fact, he's the first of the Ready to Rumble cast members to die. He's the first of the real-world cast members to be dead. Rest in peace, Michael. This is Afro Thunder's cousin, GC Thunder. I already talked a bit about him, but I figured I'd show you who he is. This is the guy who wanted to fill in the void of Afro Thunder. It worked to an extent, but Afro Thunder later came back and made it his goal to upstage GC. This is Wild Stubby Corley, who is basically the cowboy-like character from Texas. He got started in rodeo, but after losing his hand in an accident, it was fitted with a synthetic glove. Eventually, he became a boxer and vowed to take down every single one of the matches with pretty much one real hand. B-ballers should know who this is. It's Shaquille O'Neal, another celebrity-appeared character who allowed his likeness to appear in this game. Shaquille O'Neal, of course, is a basketball player, and I don't know what team he played for. Nowadays, Shaq is retired and doing commercials for the General Auto Insurance and Gold Bond healing spray and stuff like that. This is Freedom Brock, who is pretty much the laid-back Californian surfer dude, or that's what the book would say. The video game paints him as pretty much a hippie from Boulder, Colorado, but the book says he's a surfer from Santa Cruz, California. That's the second time the book got something wrong about someone in the game. The other time was Big Willie Johnson, saying he was in his hundreds when the game says he's in his 40s. This is Robox Reese 4. Yes, it's Robox, not Robot. Or really, it's pronounced Robox R-E-S-E 4, according to Robox himself. Robox is basically a modified version of the Robox training system, which was pretty much a, sort of a home gym, I guess, complete with a punching bag. Anyway, he was a modified version of that used for marketing. But don't tell that to his face, his incredibly awesome punching bag face. Honestly, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. In fact, he's my favorite character in the entire franchise. This is the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton, known in the game as Mr. President. Again, he was the 42nd President of the United States from, oh god, what were his terms? 1992 to 2000? I think those were his terms. This is former First Lady and Secretary of the State, Hillary Clinton, known in the game as the First Lady. Again, she allowed her likeness to be used in the game, and she was also known recently for running in the 2016 presidential election, in which she lost to Republican runner Donald Trump. And this is Rumble Man, who's pretty much a Hulk version of Michael Buffer. This is the guy you battle at the end of pretty much all the matches, all the tournaments. Rumble Man is, again, Michael Buffer gone Hulk. Oh, I forgot another character again. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is Joey T. He is a former hitman, and eventually he became a boxer. He seemed to be on top of the world until he lost a fight against Lulu Valentine, a girl. He became really embarrassed of that, and eventually vowed he would never lose again. So with a bunch of rigorous training and such, he's become pretty much at the top of his game. All he's got to control now is that infamous temper. There's also another character in Ready to Rumble 1 named Gino Stiletto. He was a PlayStation 1 version exclusive, and he was essentially the coach for JR Fleury, according to Ready to Rumble 2's manual. And that's all the time I have for that video. I will resume talking about Ready to Rumble boxing with a second video. In the second video, I will be talking about the rivalries and how they work out. See you in the second video.